How you doing, everybody? Nick DiVirgilio here, down in Indianapolis, hanging out with Arejay Hale from Halestorm.
Hey, the house drummer for Sweetwater. This is an honor is mine, man.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah.
Just hanging out, listening to you guys sound check. The band sounds phenomenal.
Oh, thanks,
and
man.
I know you're in the middle of a tour right now, so how's the tour going, first off?
It's been amazing. I mean, we've known the In This Moment guys for many, many years, so we haven't done a tour with them in like 6 years, so this is like kind of a big reunion tour with those guys. So.
Killer. And it's a gorgeous day out here today.
I couldn't ask for a better day, yeah.
Really, really nice.
Beautiful.
But we're here to talk about your gear.
Okay, cool.
And this setup you got, and it's very cool. So let's talk about the drums first. Pearl Reference Series drums.
Yeah.
So first, like, what are the sizes of your kit? What do you got going on?
Right now, this kit we've had, this was the first kit I ever got from Pearl, and it was just kind of like a, hey, you need a drum kit now, take this one.
Okay.
And they've built a couple custom kits for me, but this one just always just sounded the best for some reason.
Okay.
So we call it Old Faithful.
Nice.
It's just a natural maple finish reference kit.
Right.
Got 18 by 24 inch kick, 8 by 12 inch rack tom, 16/16 floor tom, and 14/14 floor tom.
Okay.
And as you'll notice, we're miking the toms underneath, and we like the reference drums because they have that layer of mahogany inside the inner plies of the bigger drums, which give them a nice deep tone. And we find it's really, really apparent when we mic them. You can really hear the tones of the shells when we mic them inside. They're not internally mounted. We just cut the bottom heads off the bottom, and we're micing them there. Then they get, the mics are super insulated. There's no wash or anything. So
now all the drums, I can't tell from right here, but I mean, all the drums are single-headed, basically.
Basically, yeah, all the toms. Yeah.
Even the floor toms and everything.
The floor toms, everything. We mic them underneath, yeah.
Nice.
Same thing with, I got rocket toms here, mic them underneath. So yeah, Pearl Reference Series drums. I play Zildjian cymbals. I play Evans drum heads, Vader drumsticks, and LP percussion. I got a cowbell and some timbales, so
very
cool, a lot of fun
man.
Stuff, yeah.
Now the setup you have this very cool rack. It's different than most racks you see, where the bars are up about chest level and all that kind of stuff. So how did you come up with this design, and how does it suit your playing?
This was one of the selling points for me with Pearl. Was I just love their racks. I love the square racks like that. They're super tough, super rigid. They hold up well on the road. We even keep we don't even have a case for these. Like, we kind of just pop them off these feet. They're bolted down to the riser, and then they just ride on top of some cases, and we set them up, and they hold up well on the road. So I got this idea from this guy that worked at Pearl. His name is Kevin Bly. He was my LA rep at the time, and he. I basically said, like, I want to do a rack, but I don't want it to be like a full-on rack. I want it to be kind of like low into the sides, and he was all about it. He did the same thing for Tommy Lee and Morgan Rose and all those guys. So I was like, well, we can definitely do it for you. So we just took the pipes and we cut them down to about 2 feet, and we double braced it. So it's super sturdy. And what we did was we took a bunch of cymbal stands and we knocked off the tripods off the main big tube, and we double braced it all the way around. So it's just super, like, indestructible.
Right.
Super rigid.
Really nice. Now, have you always been, you've been playing drums for many, many years, right, since you were a kid?
Yeah.
Now, did you have sort of a traditional setup when you were younger with your toms sort of like more in front of you here? Because you sit really low. It's killer from the front, from the visual standpoint as an audience. As someone watching the band, you're above the drum kit. You can really see you doing all your stuff. It's really cool visually. So have you always played like that with the drums really low?
You know, I mean, I've had a couple different variations over the years. I was with Ludwig for many years, as we talked about earlier, and just kind of growing up on John Bonham, I kind of had the traditional John Bonham setup, 26-inch kick, 14/14 rack, big tom sizes, big drum sizes, and they kind of like, I guess they would be kind of like up and kind of tilted backwards. But as I guess as I got older and trying to make it a little more ergonomical, try not to excess too much energy and utilize it to my advantage, try to use gravity to my advantage. I felt when I set up kind of more on top of the drums, I could get a little bit more power, get a little bit more, get a little more volume. So.
Nice.
And the sticks that I'm using are the Vader Gospel Series GS5Bs, and they have a nice thick taper, so really gravity's on my side, when I'm playing. So.
Well, if you don't mind, let's go around to the back side of the kit and check out the pedals and stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, we're behind your kit now, man, and it's really cool to see it from this vantage point because you sit pretty high. Your throne is looks like it's about as high as it can go.
Yeah, I just noticed that actually just now. Like, it is kind of high. I just kind of feel like that kind of feels more comfortable for my back.
For your back, right.
And again, like kind of just being on top of everything,
Sure.
you know. And I slid my kick drum out a little further, so my leg is a bit strict. I play single kick.
Yeah.
I do a lot of doubles, and I try to do a lot of fast stuff with my 1 foot. So that seems to be more comfortable for me. I'm using a Pearl Demon drive. It's a direct drive, and we modded it out so it's the longboard.
Right.
Which you can do that. You can take the foot plate, unscrew it, switch it around, connect it, make it longboard. And I like the longboard because when I'm doing the single kick stuff, I can slide my foot all over it, and it makes it real easy to do like fast stuff, and also keep the consistent attack. You know,
Right,
we don't use any triggers. Our sound guy's very anti-trigger.
Okay.
He wants everything to be super analog, super old school.
That's
so
cool. That's cool.
It really helps me keep a good consistent volume with my kick.
Now, we were talking to your drum tech a little while ago before we started this interview. You're
Yeah.
using the Onyx heads for your toms.
Yep.
And you
Black
do have
Onyx,
to you have
yeah.
to change your tom heads every so often, right?
Well, that's mostly due to these guys right here.
Because I always look at, man, they do have some pits.
These are a staple of every Halestorm show. We can't do a show without them. We literally take these with us anywhere we go in the world.
Now, how long have these been
gotta
around?
do. These are holding in there pretty good. We only got a little hairline fracture right there.
Okay.
We go through maybe about a pair, maybe 2 pairs a year.
Okay.
They do break eventually, and when they do, the crowd is like, yeah, they love it, you know. So that's the best thing ever. Here's an Onyx head up close here.
Yeah,
So
so
they're super thick, and for us it works great because you know, like doing the rock drumming thing.
yeah, you're hitting hard. You're hitting hard. Yeah.
I gotta hit hard,
Yeah.
and it's got to be really deep and low toned. You know, which kind of what we were talking about, micing them underneath. It kind of makes the tones very low.
Yeah.
That's the way our sound guy likes them. So we tune them real low, real flappy. They sound like 4, and we're using D6s on the inside of the tom, so
Right.
it sounds like 4 kick drums out front. I mean, you heard it. It sounds
Yeah,
thunderous, right?
Right.
So the Onyxes just hold up really well. We maybe change them out every two or 3 shows, something like that. You know.
Very good.
But they just hold up really well. We're using an EC reverse dot on the snare, and that thing refuses to break.
Yeah, you were saying they barely ever change the snare heads, right?
Just for me, with my technique, it just kind of holds up pretty well.
Very cool,
And
man.
I tip my snare forward a little bit. That gives me a nice, consistent rim shot every time. So that definitely
Very cool.
helps.
And you're also singing, doing some bevox. And
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, I've been singing and taking vocal lessons since I was a kid too. That always kind of went hand in hand. In fact, my sister and I, before we even were really playing our instruments, like the first thing we did was we started doing harmonies together. And so we've been singing together for years. So that's been a kind of a staple part of our show too,
Sure.
you know? And it's fun for me. Like I love singing. So it kind of like, when the drumming gets kind of old after a while, doing the same songs every day, at least I can kind of like sing. You know?
Change it up.
And I do a lot in my drum solo too, which is fun because I get to do a lot of call and answer stuff with the crowd, and
Very cool.
and the crowds are loud too. Like they
Right.
sing, it blows me away.
Nice. Well, man, thanks so much for taking the time to show us your gear.
Thank
Hope you
you,
have a
Nick,
killer
yeah.
show today and a great rest of your tour. And definitely, we're already talking about getting you up to Sweetwater for something else. And
It's
we'll
been
make
long
that happen
overdue.
soon.
Long overdue.
So
man.
thanks again for everything, RJ. Have a great
Thank
show.
you guys, and thank all of you. You guys are awesome. Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody.